Welcome to the Movie Draft Podcast. I'm Ethan Simi, and today I'm joined by my wonderful co-host, Ben Lawhorn.
Hello.
And our single guest for the episode, Danny Jerbeck.
Wow. What a position to be in here. Single guest. How often do you have single guests?
Well, I don't know, honestly. I'd have to look back at the doc, but you deserve the special shout out here. You know, it's just
I've gotten a lot of swipe ups recently that I'm becoming a regular cast member these days.
Oh, interesting. I don't know how I feel about that, but that's cool if that's what the streets are saying. Is that what the,
that's what the streets are saying. That's what I'm hearing on the street.
Well,
yeah.
You know, it's funny that you do mention that because the last time that we had only 3 people on this pod was, in fact, the Holy Trinity, Ben, Sophie, and myself for the top 25 movies of the 21st century, part 2. So it does appear as though you are gunning for that third chair, as is Gooch, who was the prior guest on the 3-person draft we did before that, I believe, the Brad Pitt draft. So it is a pleasure to have you here, Danny. And today we are drafting Ari Aster, Robert Eggers, and Jordan Peele movies in a collaborative draft. This is a trend that went out on social media. It had to be like 6 months ago now. It was forever ago. I don't know, because the cycle of things on Twitter when it comes to film Twitter is so fast and rash and unbelievable that I lose track of everything that's happening. But everybody put out their rankings of these filmographies, I would assume in preparation for Eddington. And that's kind of why we're doing this episode as well. I know Eddington has been out for a while in the United States at this point. It's been out for a couple of weeks in the UK and overseas by the time that this episode comes out. So hopefully people have gotten a chance to see Eddington. But we are going to be talking about 3 filmographies kind of coalesced into one. This is a brand new thing for us to do here in a collaborative draft here on the Movie Draft Podcast. But Danny, of course, welcome back to the pod. How are you feeling about podcasting? You were telling me you just got off of a dinner party, so I take it you're in good spirits.
I'm in great spirits. I couldn't be higher right now. I also am thoroughly confused why you asked me to be on this one, because a lot of our respective ratings on these movies we're going to be talking about today are wildly different. And so I think collaboration is going to be hard to come by in some trickier spots.
Be pushing the limits of what collaboration is.
Truly.
Yeah.
Which this draft already does that by default, but
yeah.
Maybe that's kind of why I wanted you on here. You know, I have a feeling I know where Ben is going to sway on some of these movies, and I know it's not in my direction. And I was like, well, let's get another third wild card in the bunch and really make for a good time, because as listeners of this pod know, there is, of course, the infamous veto override that was, in fact, used last time that we had a collaborative draft. Ben used it on you, Danny. So I'm really curious to see what transpires here on this draft. Speaking of, Ben, hi, welcome to the draft. How are you feeling? How are you in preparation for this?
I'm feeling pretty good about this. I did watch one of my glaring omissions today in preparation for this. So I'm like 90% prepared for this. We'll go over the one that I haven't seen on this list, but I feel prepped overall for this pod.
Okay, I'm in a similar boat. I'm feeling pretty prepped, and we'll talk about strategy and prep here in just a couple of minutes, as I often prod everybody to reveal as much as they can before we actually start to draft. But there is one movie that I don't feel like 100% on representing here today. I've seen it. It's just been quite a while. Everything else I was able to either revisit, or I have revisited enough in my lifetime to be pretty clear on my thoughts on them. I made my collaborative list. I locked it on Letterboxd. It is in fact private. By the time that this episode comes out, maybe it'll be public. Too. Who's to say? But that's the prep work that I did for this. And I can tell you, I'm looking at my list, and I just have a feeling, Ben, potting with you over on 24 Minutes of A24 for hundreds of episodes as we did, and knowing a lot of these movies are A24 films, I have a feeling you would have an aneurysm looking at my ranked list.
It's probably best that it's private. Yeah.
I'm really curious how this is going to shake out. But of course, before we kind of dig into this and talk about the movies and start collaboratively ranking them, or I guess pseudo collaboratively ranking them, we'll see kind of what transpires. Jordan Peele, Ari Aster, Robert Eggers. The question that I wanted to float out with these 3 filmmakers are they three of the best that we have right now making original movies in Hollywood, which I think is a very important caveat to
Mhm.
where we are in the cinema landscape. Danny, I'll throw it to you first. What are your thoughts on these three filmmakers?
Yeah, this is actually a really interesting problem because you mentioned that this conversation was happening in the build up to Eddington, and it feels like the conversation that actually pops up fairly often in the cycle of film Twitter because it popped up not that long ago as well, like last week or the week before when someone tweeted out this sort of four images with the caption "The Masters of Modern Horror" or something to
Yeah.
that effect, and it generated a lot of conversation, particularly because just the Twitter whatever X echo chamber of it all is never a great space in general, but also when you're limited to four just by default of the four images in a single post, you're going to generate reactions, right?
Mhm.
And so I think it's a really tricky thing because we were actually talking about this at our team with the rolling tape, and I sort of posed the question of like how would you all consider who would be the masters of modern horror? Can you even attribute that to someone working in modernity because they have a catalog of maybe two or three movies, right? Does
Yeah.
longevity weigh into the sort of characteristic of quote unquote a master of something? And I think it's a really challenging question to navigate because I think there's maybe someone on this list that we're talking about today that I could potentially feel comfortable talking about that title. And then there's others maybe that I think I wouldn't give that title. And there's actually,
Mhm.
there's very few that I would even out there at all, modern or otherwise, attribute the title of master. Because for me, David Cronenberg is the master. Like
Right.
there's no one like that
Mhm.
right now at
Coming
all.
from a guy with Crimes in the Future in his top four on Letterboxd right now. I love it.
Correct, correct.
Gotta rep.
But I think like that conversation, that tweet, it sparked a lot of things. And I was talking about like Julia Ducournau. Like I think
Mm,
you have to, if you're gonna really attribute that type of presence and title and characteristic to people out there, you really have to know what you're talking about, and you have to look internationally. You have to look at different filmmakers doing different types of
Mhm.
things. And I do think these titles or these filmmakers, these three that we're talking about today, certainly have done a lot for horror, but I think, there's no way that you can just limit it down to what these three in particular have done. 'Cause there's been a lot more people doing that too.
yeah, I think all very important things. I find it really interesting what you just said about being a master of something relating to perhaps the size of a catalog or a filmography or kind of the quantity that you deliver. And far be it for me to insert myself in this conversation as I'm not a super like horror kind of person, but when you said that, I just thought immediately of Hitchcock, right? Like father
Mhm.
Mhm.
of horror
Right.
films. Dude made like 60 movies. Like we gotta, like these guys, these three people have only made 11 combined. I know Jordan Peele has a movie coming out next year in 2026, an untitled project we're obviously all foaming at the mouth for. That would put it at 12 combined with all of these people. So obviously times have changed, cinema has changed and all of that, but
Right.
like that is a really interesting construct to like boil this down into. Um, a couple of these movies that we will talk about here today were mentioned or even talked about in detail about a month ago on the sophomore feature film collaborative draft, which I find
Mm.
interesting as well in terms of what a sophomore feature film is and maybe this idea more so pertaining to Ari Aster right now, but like this idea of a blank check movie and what we do with that when we prove ourselves, especially as a modern day master in something. Ben, what do you think? Ari Aster, Jordan Peele, Robert Eggers, are they modern day masters? Are they three of the best? Are they overrated? I'm curious.
I think I would qualify it as like we have a great director here. We have a pretty solid director here,
Hmm.
and then we have someone that somehow made one movie I liked. That's
Whoa.
kind of how I
Okay.
quantify these people here.
I have
Whoa.
no
Um,
clue. I don't know
You don't
what
know who is
any
who?
three. I have no clue who is who. So that's gonna be
um,
fun.
it's funny because I mean, you talk about Cronenberg, you talk about Hitchcock. The first thing I thought of was John Carpenter,
Hmm.
and it's just like, yeah. And to Dan, to your point, like we have to think internationally. Like, yeah, maybe these are. Is Robert Eggers American? I don't know. Or is he British? I have no idea. For the sake of this argument, I'm going to say he's British or American because like these are great American
Oh, yeah.
directors here. But it reminds me of
An
that.
American filmmaker. Yeah.
All right, cool, perfect.
So 3 American filmmakers here. Fascinating. Interesting
Yeah,
call out.
yeah.
It's funny
So
how the question mark arises with Eggers because he's like
He's
he
like,
has like an
English.
aura that's like,
Yeah.
where are
yeah,
you? Are you from this time, let alone this place?
yeah, exactly. Like, have you seen a cell phone? Like, how old are you? Like, I have no
Born
idea
in
what
New York
century you're
City,
from.
July
Nice.
7th, 1983.
Okay, I
There
like
you
it.
go. Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. It's funny. I think they are all like very talented at what they do. It reminds me, I think of the Jordan Peele interaction he had on Twitter when the one guy was just like, Jordan Peele's like got no misses. He had 3 hits in a row. Can you name anybody better than him? And he got on there. He's like, dude, put your phone down. Like, this is insane. Like, please don't say this, just relax a little bit. So, 3 solid directors here. I am very curious how this collaboration is going to go because
Yeah.
I haven't like looked at either of your letterbox again, Ethan. Like we've been potting together for a while, so I have a feeling on some of the things, but yeah, I'm just can't wait to get into this.
Yeah. I guess I expected nothing less from you, Ben. I think that's a take that I was ready to hear.
Mm.
Quite honestly, I love that you kind of divided them up into maybe like a tier system into what you
Mm-hmm.
think of these directors. I think they're all very different. And I think for the sake of like moving this conversation towards the draft and where we want to go, it probably won't surprise you, Ben. I don't know about you, Danny. It probably won't surprise listeners. Out of these 11 movies, 3 of these movies are 5-star movies for me.
Okay.
And I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to say who they're from.
Sure.
I'm not going to say what they are. I'm not going to say anything other than that. I think that'll be really interesting to play out as well in this collaboration and this draft. I think they all are filmmakers that, and I know Eggers is, most recently did Nosferatu, which has been done and time and time again and is not inherently original, but they are all directors that make original films based on really deep, dark themes that I think
Mm-hmm.
is like really kind of the connective tissue of all of them. Of course, Ari Aster really seeks out family trauma in every single movie that he makes. Jordan Peele, of course, tilts towards the modern day racial side of things and how that has divided society and the horrific tinge to that, which I think is really the only person doing it like he's doing it. And then Eggers has these really interesting themes of fate and identity and individualism throughout different periods of time. So I think they all have really unique things that they bring to the table. This to me is like the perfect, like you mentioned, Danny, perfect social media bait where it's just like, if you got to pick one, who are you picking? And it's like, you could have a reason for every single one of them. You like, honestly. So it's going to be really tough, I think, to rank these movies and to talk about these movies. But I do think it'll give us a good platform to maybe identify what we like most about these filmmakers and maybe what some people like least about some of these filmmakers. Perhaps one in particular that a lot of people seem to have a continued gripe with in terms of the direction of his career. So with that in mind, of course, new listeners might not know how a collaborative draft works. Listeners of this pod have some sort of an idea because every single time it seems to differ in some way or another with the strategy and the results. But we are putting together a list of 11 films that are essentially ranking this collective filmography of Ari Aster, Jordan Peele, and Robert Eggers. So whatever that means to each of us, whether that is get your favorite movie to the top, build a list that is good for the people, build an accurate list based on quality of project, I have no idea. And I think that's something that we should quickly explore before we draft. We're going to be left with one list at the very, very end of this. So a special shout out, as always, to Screen Drafts, a podcast that has influenced this draft layout. Can I ask you guys, what's the important outcome here? Is it that we get the top 3 right? Is it that we get all of them right? Like, I guess what matters?
Well, I think the really difficult thing about these 11 movies is that no matter what we put at 11 and 1, there's
Mm,
likely somebody out there who would have it the exact opposite.
Yeah.
So
mm,
that's what makes it really challenging and also exciting at the same time because inherently you are dealing with 12, 11 quality movies in some regard. And so I'm very curious because I think even just amongst the three, we're probably going to find a pretty wide margin between just how we feel about all of them. And I know that all of us have some that we really love, and that may not align with the other two people in the room. So
mhm.
it is a really tough challenge because I think if we all did it individually, we would have probably very different outcomes.
Yeah.
And so having it in collaborative form is likely to be maybe the most compelling version of this type of draft.
Yeah. Do you think that the other thread that kind of binds all of these directors, do you think they're inherently divisive filmmakers?
Mm. Yeah, I mean, just judging by how every film has been received by people, I mean, especially on a couple of these directors,
Yeah.
uh, definitely sparked some conversation, especially in film Twitter. I think
Yeah.
Danny's point is right, where it's just, I think they are divisive because again, well, I might have it 11. I know other people have it number one. But for me,
Yeah.
it's a 1.5 star movie. Like it's not for me. But I know other people who like would live and die by this. So I'm like, I get it. This is going to be interesting to see where our interests, I guess, play out.
Sure. So neither of you answered my question in helping
No,
direct
not even a
where we
little
should
bit.
go in this
Not one bit.
collaborative draft.
No.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for nothing, as per usual. Which means I have nothing to go off of. I I do think like these directors, while not inherently divisive maybe in their end goal with their films, film Twitter and what it is today, and film conversation, and at least the state of film criticism, especially coming off of the last few months of massive publications laying off their final film contributors and criticisms,
Mhm.
and opting for less insightful and thoughtful reviews of films, is important to note. And I do think that these are like, under the construct of modern day filmmakers, they do understand the assignment of making something that is something, right? Like that it is not designed to just be, this is a lame example, but it's the first one that came to my mind, not be like Captain America Brave New World, where it's like every scene we got to tell you what we just did in the last
Yeah.
scene because you're probably watching your phone. Like a lot of these movies are 2.5 or 3 hours long that demand your brain. And I
Yeah.
think that's really interesting. And I think that is what is going to be probably the most fascinating part of this conversation. Is there anything else to talk about before we draft, before we spin for thoughts?
I think I would just agree with that sentiment that I don't think divisive is necessarily the best word, but
Yeah.
they all are very much artistically provocating in a way that's
Mm,
challenging and confrontational to audiences and forcing you to grapple with what they're grappling with in a
Mhm.
meaningful and contentious way.
yeah.
And that is exactly, I think, why they have become so significant in the general conversation about what's happening in film today because it's increasingly difficult to fund and finance and produce movies that are attempting to reach for those types of goals.
Definitely agree. Wholeheartedly agree. This will be really interesting. This will be really interesting. And I'm ultimately just trying to vamp a little bit more because I'm not ready to do this, and I'm not ready to end up with a list that I probably wholeheartedly will disagree with in some form or fashion. But let's discuss the movies that we have available here. We'll go in depth to the movies when they are kind of played. We'll talk about what the picks and the abilities are, and then we'll spin for a spot. So these are going to be the 11 available movies for this collaborative draft. We only have 11 available. That is it, which of course is an interesting strategic spin on a collaborative draft. Some things like our last collab draft, the sophomore feature films, there's way more than 11 available. So you don't quite know where anybody is going to go with their pick. With only 11 available, things can get really dicey, and I have a feeling it'll go bloodbath like by 10. So we'll see where we go. From Ari Aster, we've got Hereditary, Midsommar, Beau is Afraid, and Eddington. From Jordan Peele, we've got Get Out, Us, and Nope. From Robert Eggers, we've got The Witch, The Lighthouse, The Northman, and Nosferatu. Notable here that Peele is the only filmmaker of this bunch with 3 movies. I know I mentioned that earlier, but it's still something to note. And so it's got a little less skin in the game, as one might say, from Nope. So a movie I'm very thrilled to talk about. Okay, well, we should draft. We should do this because I'm very excited. Ben, will you explain the picks and the abilities for us, please?
Yes. As you all know, this is a 3-person draft with only 11 movies available. We will spin for our spots. Drafter A will get pick 1, 4, 7, and 10. Drafter B will get pick 2, 5, and 9. And drafter C will get 3, 6, 8, and 11. Everybody will have at least one veto for the collaboration. Drafter A is going to get an extra veto because while they do have the number 1 pick, by the time we get there, it's kind of been decided by drafter B, who chose number 2. So they only kind of get 3 picks. So we're giving them an extra veto. And drafter C, because their picks are on the lower end, will be getting a veto override, which can not be used on your own nomination. It must be used on someone else's nomination. So if I play Midsommar at 11, Ethan vetoes it. Danny's like, no, actually, I think that's great. He can veto override it. It gets rid of Ethan's veto, and Midsommar is stuck at 11. So those are the picks and the abilities.
Okay. Is anybody hoping to get anything in particular? Not going to say anything. Okay, cool.
I would love to set the tone with number 11 because I think when I say the movie that I would put at number 11, I will get vetoed before I finish my sentence.
Okay.
That's interesting that you mentioned that because I want 11 so I can play a little bit of defense. So I can know that I don't have to fight you guys on the bottom here. You know what I mean? Like I'm willing to take a hit because I know some of my picks that I want high might be a little bit more unpopular. So I've got to strategically try to figure out how do I bump those the best that I can.
Yeah. I mean, I think we all have our reasons for wanting 11. That's for sure. I'm prepared to break hearts or to have my heart broken. Either way.
Yeah.
I love how with this specific draft, 11 became way more valuable than 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Crazy.
It's true.
Sometimes with these drafts, there's like a consensus where we're like, okay, we kind of know what the top 2 are. Like we can kind of guess based on general sentiment. I'm not sure that's the case here. I honestly don't. Ben, I know your take on some of these movies because we talked about them over on 24 Minutes of A24. Danny, I don't really know your take on a lot of these movies. And I know listeners are probably like, Ethan probably looked it up on Letterboxd. And yes, I am trying to look it up on Letterboxd, but frankly, it's more fun not knowing. So I'm just going to gun it. And I can't. My brain can't be involved in this and Letterboxd at the same time. So all I'm doing is staring at my list. And then when things go wrong, I will just have a crash out on the pod, which I'm getting pretty good at doing. So
perfect.
I love
we should
that.
do this. Yeah, we should do this and figure out how the Ari Aster, Robert Eggers, Jordan Peele collaborative draft is going to be going.
Let's do it.
Ben, do you want to spin for our spots here?
I would love to.
Okay.
Pretty straightforward.
And if your name gets spun, you get to choose what drafter you get to be. You don't have to pick until everybody's spun. But of course, a benefit to watching us on YouTube or now on Spotify, now with video there. So
let's
can only hope for the best. Oh boy.
Wow.
I'm just glad it's not Ethan. I can live with it not being Ethan.
You're glad it's not me? What did I ever do? How did I lose your confidence?
Okay.
Come on, keep going, keep going. Oh boy.
All right, cool.
All right.
All right.
Well, this is not ideal for I think anybody. Ben, you got chosen first on the spinner.
Yes.
Do you want to be drafter A, B, or C?
The 11 spots column to me, so I love drafter
so
C.
Stupid.
Yeah, he has the
I know
veto
what you're
override in his pocket again. That 11 spot paired with a veto override is
it's kind of OP a little bit. Like it's a little sus. Ben, you were toying with the ability and stuff before we started potting. I just want people to know that. So
and then he also spun.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know about
I
that.
do work in video production. Who knows if it's real? Things can get manipulated,
He screen recorded a video where he specifically
I just kept doing it until it like landed. Like they'll probably banter for about 3 seconds and I'll spin again.
Yeah, so I don't like you having 11 or the veto override, as Danny mentioned. I think that's pretty diabolical, and I think we're fucked. But with that in mind, I don't like drafter A because one is kind of already determined for me by the time we get to the top, right? But those 2 vetoes are
Pretty nice.
looking mighty sweet. So I'm going to take drafter A.
Okay. So that means Danny's kind of choosing the 1 and 2 spot.
I'll take that. That's a good power to have.
I have more faith in Danny to choose the top spots than you, Ben. That's for sure.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
Yeah, good. Okay.
I agree with you. This
aligned.
Is not an insult at all. I agree 100%.
We are aligned.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me fill out our doc here. Make sure we got everything in line, because I frankly don't really like what Ben's going to put at 11, or at least have a feeling that I'm not going to like it. Okay.
Well, we'll see.
All right. Well, Ben, do you want to kick us off on the Ari Aster, Robert Eggers, Jordan Peele collaborative draft?
I would love to.
Okay.
As I mentioned earlier, I have 1.5 star film out of these 11. So that's what
I know exactly what movie it is. It's fucking psychotic. It's so stupid.
It's what I will be nominating.
So I'm dumb.
I'm gonna read the IMDb description, and then we'll get into it. An isolated Puritan family in the 1630s New England comes unraveled by the forces of witchcraft and possession.
Oh my god!
Obviously, we're talking about The Witch here.
Oh I feel
it's just so wrong on so many levels.
Out of all of the things that could be a 1.5 star movie.
Well, to its credit, I do feel like I was under possession while watching this. Unfortunately, it was the demon of boredom that was possessing me. I couldn't have had a worse time. I just don't like this movie at all. It doesn't work for me. I tried to watch it a second time and I couldn't do it. This is one though, like you talked about. I know people like what we have at 11, other people have at 1. I know that there are people out there that would have this at number 1, 100%. I can't say I understand it, but I recognize you guys. I know you're out there. Unfortunately, I'm on the other end of the spectrum with this film. I couldn't wait for it to be over. Nothing really grasped me with it. It kind of missed me. So unfortunately, Eggers, for the most part, hasn't really worked for me.
Okay.
Black Phillip is gonna get you for this.
Yeah, he will be got. Of course, yeah. Ultimately, about Black Phillip and Anya Taylor-Joy trying to protect her family from a demon, yet try to also find her way out of the really just terrible situation women found themselves in back in the 18th century or 16th century. So, Ben, I used to think like you. I used to be you. Mm-hmm. And you know this. Listeners over on A24 would know as well. We watched The Witch, we reviewed The Witch, and we were just like, I don't get it. Not understanding it. I've since seen it a couple more times. So I've logged it 3 times on Letterboxd. The last time that I saw it, I was like, oh, I get it. I get it now. And I think it's incredible. And I can't. 11 is crazy. It's crazy to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't have predicted that this was going to be the one that he was propping up there.
I actually thought it was going to be a different movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought it was going to. There was one other where I'm just like, I know.
Oh,
Ben
okay.
does not like this movie. But to play the witch here is bold. Danny,
are you feeling good about using a veto though, Ethan?
Well, so that's the thing. Of course, we find ourselves in this predicament quite often here on the collaborative draft. Is like you don't want to be baited into using a veto in the bottom spot, but then we're gonna end up bumping to 8. And everybody's gonna be like pretty paranoid to use their vetoes, and then like things are just gonna shake. So it's like is this the right opportunity or is this too soon? I wouldn't play the witch here personally. I have it a little bit higher in my list. Pretty positive on this movie. I do like what we're doing here. And I think this movie is like pretty special. And I think really, I mean, this is where Anya Taylor-Joy gets her big break. I think this is her first movie, if I'm not
Their first movie.
mistaken,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
Yeah.
And I think has one of the most intense, uh, pretty visceral, like final 10 minutes, I think, especially of a period piece that has a horror bend to it. Where are you at on this movie, Danny? You're pro The Witch?
Oh yeah, very pro The Witch.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite from this list, to be honest. I have it
Yeah.
at I'll just be honest, I have it at number 4. In my
Whoa.
11.
Okay.
Okay. Well, in the spirit of transparency, I have it at number 8 on my 11.
Ooh. I would have wow.
Yeah, a little
Considering
bit lower.
what I know you rated this,
I know.
wow, I'm a little bit surprised by that.
This whole slate of movies, except for like 2 movies, they're all up there for me. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and you got to rank them
Yeah.
somehow.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling good about using a veto here, just because like I'm really concerned about like this 8-7-6 run. We got like Ben going kind of back to backs on 8-6 here. That could do us some damage. So I'm not gonna use a veto.
Obviously I would have the bigger stake because I do have this ranked higher, but
Yeah.
I only have one veto.
Yeah.
You do.
I don't want to be sitting on my thumb the rest of the way here, not being able to.
It's gonna be a long episode. Yeah.
I'm sorry to the witch truthers out there. I just want to put on the record I don't agree with this, but there's got to be something I'm gonna agree with less in the next.
Right. Yes. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So we're fucked from 11. That's cool. So the witch is going here, which I think is incredibly wrong. Ben, not surprising. Honestly, I knew this was one of 2 moves that you were going to pull here on the witch. I am happy to be a truther. I'm proud to be on this team now. I do think that this obviously will invoke the conversation. We'll continue this as we go through the draft here of Robert Eggers and his dire commitment to period piece accuracy.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, he spends years researching 16th century folklore for The Witch. He notably spends like 18 months researching Norse mythology and the history of Nords and Vikings for the Northmen. Like, he does the same thing for Nosferatu. Like, this is his thing. This is like what he does. And he just gets it all right. I own the 4K of The Witch. Let it be known.
Nice.
That's it. Okay, cool.
Love it.
Huh. All right.
Physical media represent.
Shout out Physical Media, which I did watch. The 2 movies that I rewatched for this draft, both watched the 4K physical disc. Felt good about that. Yeah, pretty fun. Pretty exciting. All right. So I've got number 10. Okay. We've got number 10, which means I am going to play the sole movie that I don't feel confident about talking later on, the one I did not revisit for this, and that I totally take blame and my fault for that. But I know where I stand on this movie based on the first time I saw it. I think there's a wide consensus, and I might be miscasting here. So steer me correct, guys, if I'm wrong, but I think there's a wide consensus. This movie is the weakest of this filmmaker's filmography. I'm going to be playing Jordan Peele's Us here at number 10. Of course, a movie starring Lupita Nyong'o and Winston Duke and their family. They go on a vacation and things go absolutely haywire. And Jordan Peele does what he does best and drops an incredible needle drop while scary, terrible things are happening. And then things get, I guess, a little bit like, I don't know, hyper realistic, non-realistic. And they kind of discover a world that was not beknownst to them prior.
Mm-hmm.
I saw this in movie theaters and I liked it. It's not that I dislike this movie, but to me, stacked against the rest of the filmography, this is quite honestly, I think me not rewatching this like shows I didn't feel great compassion to like, I have to revisit Us. I need to be able to speak to this movie. Like, it's pretty good. Like, it's doing Jordan Peele things and it's doing them well. I just don't think it's doing it as well as some of his other entries. So I'm going to put that here.
Yeah, I love Us. I have it at 5 for myself.
Ooh,
Ooh.
wow.
I think this is great. And if Danny hadn't so emphatically nodded his head when you played this, I might veto it, thinking that like it would go above the ninth spot. But
Come on, Danny.
I'm
You
not
can't give it
gonna.
away that easily. You gotta stone him. You gotta ice
All
him
right, all
out.
right.
He,
I'll
I
zone
mean,
in. I'll
I
lock
thought
in
he was
here.
gonna break his neck the way he was nodding. It's like, oh Jesus, he really likes his pick. I don't know that I can veto this. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think this movie is great. I think it's amazing performances on both ends from all the actors. Again, great needle drops. Like the police, just one of the funnier moments ever. I think in horror film. Like I love it. Um, I don't know. I like this a lot, but I just know Vito's probably not going to serve me that well here. So, gotta sacrifice our darlings sometimes. So
Mhm.
Yeah, I like this movie a good bit. It's just the only reason that I would agree with a lower tier ranking here is you just simply have to rank these, and there's so many great movies in
yeah,
this list. It's sort of victim to that. But I do enjoy this movie. I sort of similarly to you, Ethan, haven't revisited this in a while. Maybe since theaters. I might have rewatched it
Mhm.
once since then. But yeah, no, I mean, I think this is a really strong movie. Lupita Nyong'o is just
Yeah,
incredible in
yeah,
this movie.
really good.
Like, arguably one of the best performances that we will even have here, which is
for
saying
sure.
something. But yeah, I would have this. I have it at 8 on my personal list, so
Okay.
probably not worth vetoing to make any bigger
Yeah,
moves on that.
make any ground. Okay. Well, I feel like mine. I feel like it was a little bit of a safe pick, but I hope it'll do us well in the long run, and I hope we're moving in the right direction. I worry for what's next here at number 9
Yeah, I'm really
for you, Danny.
curious.
No
Oh,
other no other thoughts on us, right? We're good to move forward with this conversation.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I feel good.
Feel good. Okay. Sounds good.
I
All
mean,
right.
Ben's the biggest fan for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which I think like 2 picks in a row, Ben has been the opposite of what at least Danny and I in somewhat
Right,
believe. So
right.
this is see how
but
this will
this
shape.
is yeah coming up here. This next pick is like kind of what I felt like maybe I needed to hold on to my veto for because in
Oh.
transparency we did have a group chat going on, and Danny said he was rewatching something today that will be contentious, and I don't know how to interpret that. I don't know how to take that right now.
Right.
So I want to see what
Okay.
this number 9 is going to be. Yeah, I'm very curious.
Me
Hmm.
too.
I have two directions because there's two movies that I have a significant tier lower on my star rating than anything else. Both of which I do think will get vetoed here.
Mm.
It's just a matter of whether I want to try to flush a veto because there's certainly one I could just immediately get vetoed on, or maybe sneak in something that I don't feel is quite as high as some other people here. I'm sorry. I'm gonna.
This is like just keep in mind this is like my first impression of this your entire idea of this filmography as a whole. So like
Yeah,
if you fuck this up, then like I don't know. I don't know
no no
if we ever
pressure,
talk
but
again, but whatever.
yeah.
Truly. Hmm.
Yeah, now you're rethinking. Now you're taking a beat.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna do the movie I rewatched today because I don't think this is a great movie. I'm gonna go with Robert Eggers' The Northman.
Fuck you. Fuck you, Danny. Fuck you. That's ridiculous. What?
I'm sorry. I think this is by
This
far
is a
his weakest.
five-star movie. This is a
Oh no.
No.
five-star movie.
I know it's the only I know you giving it
What?
5 stars, and you said you've only given 5 stars of one of these movies. I was like, holy shit, that's the only one out of this. The Northman.
Mm. No, I've given 5 stars to 3 of these films,
Oh, okay.
which is a little heavy, a little heavy-handed. I will admit, but I'm in good faith. I have reasons for these. Ben, have you seen The Northman?
Unfortunately not. This is the
Okay.
one that I have not seen, so I can't really comment on
Interesting.
it. So the ball is fully in your court here,
Okay.
Mr. Two Vetoes.
Danny, do you want to talk about the Northman at all? You want to give your pitch for this position?
Yeah, we talked about basically this idea. We talked about this sort of extensively with the direction and trajectory of filmmakers when we talked about the sophomore feature. This is Egger's third feature, but it's sort of sophomore in the sense that this is the first time that he's sort of jumping to the studio system
Mhm.
and isn't operating so independently with a lot more creative autonomy that he had with The Witch and The Lighthouse, operating with A24, The Northman being with Focus. And there was a lot of trepidation, I think, around this when it came out, surrounding what would a Robert Eggers movie look like operating with studio notes and not full,
Yeah.
maybe final cut or full creative autonomy to do what he wanted to do. And I do think that there is a lot of tension in that relationship here, where I think there's some components to this that feel like studio notes. There's
Hmm.
some scenes that feel a little misdirected to me. I think the story, I mean, obviously, it's just an age old tale. Ultimately, just feels like an exercise in retelling it in the most sort of time accurate way possible. It feels more like an exercise in how can you make this the most glorious version of this than adding anything sort of interesting or significant, which I think The Witch and The Lighthouse did a lot better, of adding some really provocative, unique, confrontational ideas about gender identity, and all of these different things that he's broaching in those movies. And I just never really got there with the themes of this. I think there's a couple scenes in this that honestly feel a little bit poorly directed to me too. I think some of the action doesn't look great in this movie.
Just
It's
keep going.
not.
Just keep going.
I
Keep
mean,
reading it, brother.
you asked me to speak my piece, so I'm
This
speaking
is
my
insane.
piece.
That's crazy. I did not know that you felt this way about this movie.
And here we are.
Okay.
Here we are.
This is
Here
one of
we
the
go.
things. This is one of the things I was like, I don't know if he
All right.
knows this, but like he invited me on, and I don't
Yeah.
like the Northman.
Yeah, so that's my problem there. I got to vet our guests better. I got to make sure I got to redistrict these mappings. I really have got to figure out how to get the people on my team.
Redistricting mappings is sensitive topics, so
um, I okay. So I'm a little bit flustered. I got to be honest with you here. I like the point that you bring up. His first movie outside of A24. This was a big deal. Of course, releases in April of 2022, which still like feeling very heavy pandemic vibes from a theatrical standpoint. Movie cost 70 million bucks, makes just under 70 million at the box office with marketing and other things, does not make its money back. I understand like this age old telling, of course, it takes place in AD 895 and is essentially just a telling of revenge and
Mhm.
fate and destiny and hope and love. And these like, while very like standard ideas and tropes, things that actually work for me really, really well, like in this setting, it is a very classic, like kingdom gets overthrown, son of the king witnesses it, spends his entire life mulling over the fact that he has to avenge his father. I will avenge you, father. I will save you, mother. I will kill you, Fulnir. And like uses that for 2 hours to basically create momentum towards what I think is like a pretty fucking cool final sequence in this movie. I think we just land a little bit differently because like I really like the hyper technical aspect of this movie. And if you land on the other side, you're like, are we doing anything here? Like, are we actually doing something instead of just being like, look, I can make a pseudo oneer and use a dark house to mask that I'm cutting this really long 9-minute battle sequence. And it's like, yeah, we know that's pretty cool, but I think he does it well, and I think it's pretty cool. I actually love Anya Taylor-Joy in this movie, and the fact that you guys are putting both of her movies that are available in this draft in the bottom three is fucking psychotic.
well,
I think
let
that's
it be known I
that's
don't agree
ridiculous.
with the other one.
I think that's crazy, and I just don't. I just like don't agree. But the problem that I face here is most people are in your camp, Danny. I feel like most people are like, yeah, The Northman, fine. Like it's not, especially against this group of 11, is not the movie. So do I blow a veto to like prove a point, or is this good enough for me to just be like, guys, I really like this movie, but
Well, that's exactly what I'm setting you up to do. I'm seeing how far you're willing to go to prove a point.
I'm willing to go pretty far. I'm willing to go pretty far.
I've seen him go far to prove a point before.
I have. But then again, Ben's got the 8 pick. Let me play this for you guys. Okay. I know what Ben's going to play at 8. I have to veto it. That's going to bump it to 6.
Interesting.
I could, in theory, veto it then. And at a minimum, if Danny plays it at 5, it makes the top 5, which I feel pretty good about, instead of sitting at 8.
Making me play The Northman for 2 of my 3 picks is fucking bananas. I have these 11 movies to choose from, and somehow I would have to play The Northman twice.
Hey, Ben.
Yo.
So you haven't seen The Northman.
True.
Where's your moral compass on this? Like, would you be like, yeah, let's put it at 8? Or like, are you feeling like you have to abstain from the count here?
I'm not going to play it at all.
Okay. You're not going to. Okay.
Yeah. So if somehow it ends up at like, we're in the top 3 and it still hasn't been played, I'm not even playing it at 3. Like, I don't know the movie.
The mission has become clear. Yeah. Vengeance is our goal, but we cannot escape our fate.
If we leave a draft where I have to play The Northman at 2 and The Witch is at 11, I think I would abstain from promoting this when it comes out. How about that?
I think in line with The Northman, we thirst for vengeance, and I veto this here in the spot. We'll not be playing The Northman here. But alas, that does lead us to play another movie here from Danny that could perhaps be worse. I don't know, but perhaps.
I don't think you're going to like, well,
I don't know that I want to hear another movie from him.
Before you highlight that you use your veto, I'm just going to put out there that I don't think you're going to like the alternative.
Oh, okay. So like you're giving me one last stop on the train
tracks.
You're like, hey, if you want to get off, this is the chance.
Don't think you're going to agree with this. I don't think you'll be as shocked as The Northman, but you're going to have trouble. It's going to be a tough pill to swallow too.
Yeah, that's the problem, is like, what movie do I want to stump for here? Like, what movie am I trying to walk away with on the top? Because I do feel like The Northman, you just fucking disparaged my boy. Like, I feel hurt personally, but in good conscience, getting the last opportunity to jump off the train here before we go over the edge, the veto edge. I have an idea of what you're going to play next. And you are correct that I wouldn't like it. So,
but I think you could understand.
You think I could understand?
I think
the movie I'm thinking about, I would not understand in the slightest.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Should we play it out then?
Hold on. Train's got like 14 more seconds before it pulls out of the station here. Ben, do you know what you're playing at 8?
Yeah.
Fuck. Oh, you guys have really fucked me over. You guys really did me in. I'm just going to... guys, why? I'm just going to end up burning my vetoes and not getting the list that I want.
Listen, The Witch played at 11. I already don't have the list I
want. Okay. All right. We thirst for vengeance, but we cannot escape our fate. Our fate deems us at number 9. We will leave The Northman at number 9, begrudgingly, I feel like a very interesting thematic dive into fate versus choice and what we do in that movie, especially set in a period piece. And I think Alexander Skarsgård is really good at that. And I think an interesting Robert Eggers perspective, especially in The Northman, is like, how close is humanity to like not being human, right? Like that is one of the main constructs of The Northman, is like, he's animalistic. He can go apeshit. And like, maybe we're all closer to that than we think, and maybe that's actually our fate, and that's driven us through history. But okay.
What I
The
will say is I
Northman.
think something that is more interesting than the themes of the Northman is that 3 picks in, all 3 of us have
I
had
wanna-
to leave something on the board begrudgingly
Yeah,
when
Yeah.
we
right.
all could have vetoed it.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so we've got 2 Eggers played and 1 Jordan Peele played. I just wanted to note that. I think that's
Yeah.
really interesting.
That is interesting. That is not what I anticipated.
The Northman at 9 is crazy. I have it personally at number 3 on my list.
Whew. So literally all 3
Whoo!
of us have had something in our respective
Yeah,
top 5s played in the first 3 picks here.
plummet. So
Wow.
why are we where's the collaboration? Like
I
when
don't
did
know.
that go
There's
out the
none to
window?
be
We
found.
all have things
Absolutely
we
none.
want. Ben, hello.
Hey.
Why? You started this.
You guys had vetoes. You had 3 vetoes between you and I couldn't use the override on my own pick, so you guys could have done it.
Don't put
We've-
this back on us.
I'm almost regretting not using it on the witch because I think that's just crazy.
Yeah. I
Well-
kind of felt like you guys would regret not vetoing it, but here we are.
Because I only have 1 though, but I
Yeah.
don't know. We'll see.
Okay, so 3 picks into the 11. We've got 8 to go. Nobody's used any abilities yet.
Yeah.
Notable. Ben, number 8.
Number 8. I think it is unfortunately time to get Mr. Aster on the board here.
Mhm.
I will be playing Beau is Afraid
Okay.
at number 8. I have that down as a 2-star film on my letterbox.
Certified hater over here, Ben.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
He hasn't
Yeah.
even gotten into movies he likes yet.
Yeah. We're hating on everything. REP us, I'm sorry to see you down there at 10, but yeah, I don't know. This movie is just like, I will acknowledge that this is a me issue and not an issue of the movie. I went in ready for Ari Aster's 3rd horror film that was like gonna fuck with my head and all that kind of stuff, and instead I got this like psychotic odyssey, which, to be fair, I haven't revisited, so I don't know. This might be, now that I know what it is, like maybe I would like it more. But
I tried to get you to revisit Beau is Afraid every fucking week over on 24 Minutes of A24. I
really
ended the
did.
pod. I was like, when are we going to rebo?
Yeah.
And you were just like, never.
No, let's just end the
Rebo,
pod. I'm
okay.
never gonna watch this again.
And I will say, ahead of Eddington, I did revisit it and I came out feeling pretty similar to my initial reaction.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's totally fair. I feel like it only has the room to go up. But unfortunately I have to like rank it at what it's at on my list. So yeah, I don't know. It's like a psychotic odyssey, huge penis. Like, I don't know. This movie's like just wild. Parker Posey, like Patty Lupone. There's some great stuff in here, but overall, just like I wasn't ready for what it was giving me. So unfortunately, I'm gonna be playing it here at number 8.
Okay. Starring Joaquin Phoenix, of course.
Yeah.
This is kind of the beginning of the Ari Aster Joaquin Phoenix super duo that we see here. And of course, 2 years later in Eddington in 2025. I think a movie that has a lot of shock value, honestly, especially like you mentioned, Ben, coming out of Hereditary, Midsommar, then you get Beau's Afraid, a 3-hour Kafka-esque odyssey in absolute anxiety and life detriment, and trying to figure out where we fall within the lineage and legacy of our own individualism and our families' kind of doings, and also trying to get laid. Like, I think there's a lot at play that is really interesting from Ari Aster here. I did revisit this movie in preparation for Eddington. So about 6 weeks ago, probably. It's not going to be played here. I will be vetoing this film.
Okay.
Oh,
Interesting.
wow.
I'm sorry.
I didn't know this is what he would go to bat for with a veto.
I like
everything
it.
below this. Interesting.
I had to, I mean, like I said, I thirst for vengeance, but our fate is already told. Beau was afraid. I I don't want to say like I get it now, but like I get it a lot more. I get what Ari is doing. And I have a lot of respect for what he's doing in Beau is Afraid. And there is a sequence in this movie where it's like, I rewatched it and I was just like on the verge of tears because I'm just like, God, these themes, like Ari Aster, yes, cannot escape these ideas of like family trauma and what and this isolation that we find ourselves after something happens to our family. But particularly in this movie, the play that we get when Beau discovers, quote unquote, his children and what his life could have been and what his life is, that is like, that stirs something in me, especially in the consciousness of like, how do we view ourselves and how do we think the world views us? Because famously, if you haven't seen Beau is Afraid, spoilers for 10 seconds, it ends with Beau in a boat in a coliseum being hurled the things that he did in his life that were just not good enough for him, and then dying in the boat, and then the credits roll. And I remember seeing that in theaters being like, what the fuck is happening? Like, what are we doing? Like, I don't follow this at all. And then I revisited it and I was like, oh, okay. This is really deeply fucked, but I also really dig it.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be at 8.
Okay. Well,
okay, Ben. There's a movie that I'm frankly has not. I'm really surprised has not been played yet.
Well, I'll tell you this: I'm not fond of your veto, and I'm not fond of your lobster. I'm going to be playing The Lighthouse here at number 8.
This is the right movie. Well done.
That
was a great segue. That was fantasy shit, bro.
That was done incredibly well.
I think it's wild. Like, obviously Eggers is the director I have an issue with the most. And even I think it's wild that like 3 of the bottom 4 picks could potentially be Eggers. But I am
Eggers fans are not going to have a good day when they're going to listen to this draft.
Yeah, they're not going to like that at all. 2 Lighthouse keepers trying to stay sane. Like, I don't know what else to say about this movie. It's solid performances. Obviously, like, it's Defoe and Pattinson, and they're great actors. But this movie for me just kind of, I probably missed something, but just missed the mark for me, unfortunately. It's something again that like maybe I should revisit, and maybe that'll help me out. But upon the first watch, it was right down the middle, 2.5 stars for me. It was just like, it wasn't like poorly made or anything like that. It just wasn't for me, unfortunately. So, yeah, I don't know, kind of crazy to have 3 of them in the bottom 4, but this is where I am going to submit The Lighthouse as a spot number 8.
It's notable here that Robert Eggers is a really big fan of birds, just in his movies in general. We get the crow that leads us in the Northman. We of course get the gulls here in The Lighthouse. The witch, I'm sure a bird shows up unless I'm misremembering. What did Eggers ever do to you, Ben? Like, I can't. This is like a personal affront here.
Made me sit through some boring shit. That's what he did to me. I think that was it. I don't know. We still have one more movie to talk about, which like I'm positive on. So we'll see when that finally gets played. But it's nothing personal. I'm sure he's a fine gentleman. But yeah,
just puts in all this work for his movies, and Ben's like, 2.5 stars.
Not for me.
Not for me.
Thanks for your 18 months of research, but not for me.
Didn't do it. Robert Pattinson, pretty good in this movie, I'd say.
Pretty good. Defoe's
yeah.
always fun to see. Like, yeah.
Hypnotic, for sure. I think has really interesting elements. I think is a perfectly good movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's great by any means. I don't get the like this is the defining piece of like the, we always get these A24 things that go around. Like, is it Hereditary, Midsommar, The Lighthouse? Like, it's, to me, The Lighthouse is not in those conversations. And I find it interesting that so many people think it is. Not to be like pretentious, but I really wonder if it's the fact that it's like in black and white with a fancy aspect ratio where people are like, film, and it's like, yeah, guys, like, I don't know, I get it. What do you think, Danny?
Yeah, I think is similar to the territory of Us for me, where I like the movie. I think it's doing some really interesting things, but I just never personally found myself incredibly invested in what it was.
Mhm.
This is the other one. It's actually those two, The Lighthouse and Us, that I haven't revisited in quite a while. They're the kind of longest running since I've rewatched them. I do like a lot of what this film has to offer. I think what it has to say about masculinity, about
Mhm.
sexuality, about paranoia and isolationism. Like, there's some really, I think, compelling ideas in this.
Mhm.
To be honest, I still don't understand the ending, and I would love for someone to explain it
Mm.
to me how it actually culminates. Um, and
Have
I
you ever
think
tried
that
Googling the lighthouse ending explained?
Oh
I'm
no,
sure there's
that's
something
actually
out there, Danny.
that's a really good idea. Actually, I might do that right
Might
now.
be onto something.
Yeah,
I think
Collider might appreciate your clicks on that one.
they certainly would. I just never. I think honestly, an ending is like really important to me. How you close a movie, and a movie like Beau is Afraid, which we've already talked about a little bit. I think segues and gets sidetracked multiple times during the course of its runtime, but it has a really potent ending that I really,
Yeah.
really like. And that is the reason that I kind of mentally put that over The Lighthouse, despite the fact that I have maybe more issues throughout the entirety of the runtime with a movie like Beau is Afraid, but it really nails it at the end, putting on quite literally on display the themes that it's toying with throughout.
Yeah. I think that is ultimately my takeaway from the lighthouse as well. I think like it is kind of a I guess maybe in a similar sentiment to what you said about the Northman, like I think it's a rather hollow exercise into what Eggers is trying to accomplish, which are some interesting themes about masculinity and sexual identity and isolationism and all of these things, but and are I guess like godlike reverence that we put for certain things that attract our attention. But like I agree with you that like I'm just like when it wraps, I'm just like, did we get there? I didn't really feel like we got there.
No, I
So
never felt like we got there, and that's
yeah.
where I'm left a little cold on The
Mm.
Lighthouse, unfortunately. Maybe I could revisit it, and feel a different way about it. And I'll admit I love a weird aspect ratio and I love a black and white shot film, but
All
Okay.
right.
All right. So we got the lighthouse there.
yeah, that's
All right.
about where I have it at 9. Fine with
Oh
8.
yeah.
It's pretty close.
I got it at 10. Yeah. We're semi aligned. All righty. So at number 7, I am going to stick the dagger in the coffin here, and we are going to be putting forth Robert Eggers' most recent film, Nosferatu, a
Nope.
movie.
Nope, we're not. No, no. That's vetoed.
Damn. The quickness.
Not even a
I
little
literally,
bit.
I
Not
literally,
even
I
a
just
little
said
bit.
a movie, and you just shut it off. You're just like, try again. um,
I and
this
now
movie's
I
fine. Do you
appreciate
get
having
it?
a veto still.
Right? Do you get it? Like, do you get how I felt about the Northman now? Where you're just like, nope, nope, absolutely not.
And even
Like,
if you offered me a second chance after like the initial impulse
oh sure,
subsides,
I'll give you
I
one more
don't think I'm
shot.
going to come off of it. I
Okay,
don't think I'm
okay.
going to.
Okay, well, in that vein, I mean, Nosferatu, 2024's version of Nosferatu by Robert Eggers, tale of obsession and fantasy and monsters in some way, shape, or form, and I don't know, possession.
Yeah.
A movie that I found totally okay, and just I don't really get what people are seeing here with this movie. But I guess a conversation will save.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed.
Okay.
I'm happy you played the veto.
Okay. So that's
I guess
great.
I should have waited for the fact that Ben could play a veto first.
He could have.
And
True. I
he has the right to,
Well,
oh,
because he's ahead of me, right?
that's true. Yeah,
but
he did
yeah,
get
I wouldn't
6.
have, just to be clear. Even if you take
Okay.
it back, I still wouldn't veto it.
You wouldn't have vetoed this.
No.
Oh, damn it. God, we could have had such a good top 6. It could have been perfect if Nosferatu was here.
I think it'll be great in the top 6, probably top 5. Actually,
it
it's
would
definitely gonna be in the
great
top 5. So
absolutely. Yeah.
God, that's insane. Oh, interesting. Okay. So now the tables have turned and now I don't like this. Okay. So Nosferatu is not going to be played here. That leaves me to play another movie. Huh. Okay.
Has
1,
anyone ever
2,
vetoed
3,
you
4,
that fast,
5.
Ethan?
that was
Yeah,
so quick. That was
that
like
was remarkably
instinctual.
fast. That was like like maybe you Dirk Digglered that shit and you like practice it in the mirror and you were like, what happens if Ethan says this movie too low? Like nope,
What
nope,
happens if
nope, nope,
Ethan says Nosferatu before the top 5? Nope, nope.
Nope,
nope, nope,
nope.
nope. There are 5 movies that
You
while
could,
I understand that their time has not come and that's fine that we haven't talked about them. They just haven't nobody's like uttered them in a sentence of comparison or contrast or anything like that. I think that's interesting. At least one from each filmmaker. Something to note as well. Okay. Well, so I kind of got fucked a little bit because because I can't what do I do? What do I do? What do you guys want to happen here?
You
Where's
can
the
play another
collaboration at?
movie that's perfectly suited for this middle tier.
Not when I went to bed. Not when I tried so hard.
I think, yeah, my hint would be maybe the most recent film out of this list of 11. This might be a good spot for it.
I would agree with
Oh,
that.
really? Interesting. Huh. Okay.
Not a bad movie, but by looking at what else is on here, like to me,
Looking at the list.
that's the clear next step.
I think Ben's onto something.
Okay. So, with both of you agreeing to that, if I don't play that here, Ben, is that something you played 6?
Let me consult my list.
I just need to know what I'm working with here.
Yeah, it's possible.
Okay, and I only have 1 veto left. Wow, this looks like took a hard strategy pivot. Danny, you screwed this.
I gotta stick up for the Eggers fans out there a little bit because they're gonna hate listening to this episode, and someone's got to be there to give them a little bit of a pulse to hang on to here.
Can you imagine if he had 4 of the bottom 5? It's just like that would have been psychotic.
Crazy. Yeah, that'd be tough.
I don't know. How did we end up here?
Yeah. Okay. So I've got to do a little bit of self-harm here. In order to finagle the list the way that I want it, I am going to posit that we put Beau is Afraid here at 7. I'm not happy with this, but in the essence of preservation and the things that I actually feel are markedly better than Beau is Afraid, a movie that I really enjoy, I have to do a little shimmying here and there to make our way to the tip of the mountain. So I'll put Beau is Afraid at 7. I'm going to assume that neither of you are going to veto this movie. Any other thoughts on this film? Because I know we already kind of had a discussion about it.
Yeah, I don't know that I have anything additional to add outside of what I said when I nominated it. So I think this is, if anything, 1 spot too high in my opinion. But this is great.
I think Ari Aster had to get played here. Having all 4 of his movies in the top 6 feels crazy.
Yeah, that would have been nuts.
Is Beau is Afraid the most? I know we kind of agreed divisive is not like the right word here, but is Beau is Afraid like the most provocative of his films to elicit a hard response from? No.
Oh,
I don't think so either. I don't think so. Just I think an interesting question because I do feel like a lot of people revisited this movie in preparation for Eddington, and a lot of people were just like, what is Ari Aster on? And then saw Eddington and was like, he took more of it. What is he on? And so I think to me, that's really, really interesting. And I know, Ben, you feel like exactly the opposite, where it's like we got Hereditary and Midsommar, 2 very like staunch horror movies with really good themes. And then we did Beau's Afraid and Eddington, two very different movies with very good themes that are not at all the same as what he did prior. And I think people kind of took an affront to that and felt a little bit like they were used by Aster. But
which I think is crazy because let's let artists do their art. Like they don't have to give you what you want. The same thing with Celine's song. Like she made one movie and everyone was like, why isn't this Past Lives again? Like she let her do her thing.
Exactly my take on that is like our preconceived notions on a filmmaker's prior film has predisposed us to not like their next film, which I think is like a whole really crazy state of cinema.
It could be a whole conversation on its own.
Yeah.
It's interesting though, because that's so much how these films get marketed. I think it's why Beau's Afraid got me, because it was like from the director of Midsommar and Hereditary. It's like, fuck yeah, okay, great, let's do it.
You should have voiced that trailer from the director.
From the director.
Of Midsommar. A guy who doesn't like people to have heads.
Get ready to be disappointed by his third.
We'll show you a head in a new light.
Yeah. I mean, your points are valid. You shouldn't like just judge by their previous work, but that is so much of what the studio promotes out there. Obviously, understandably why, but so it's kind of confusing. Anyways, Eddington number 6 is what I like to play here. I watched this movie today. I enjoy this movie actually.
Like, whoa! Really?
Yeah, I actually like this movie. But again, like I think it's because I was ready for it. Like you said, like after Beau's Afraid, I'm like, okay, this is what he's doing. This time I'm ready for it.
Sure.
And I was on board, and I thought it was really good. So
wow, for interesting. That's crazy. Yeah, I did not expect to hear that.
We're in the territory of 5-star, 4.5-star. Like coming up. So this is not in that realm, but it's still a positive rating. I haven't rated it yet because I wanted to wait till we were done with this episode. So I don't know exactly what I'm going to do, but yeah, overall positive.
Okay. I am going to pause the conversation on Eddington because I'm going to veto it.
Oh my God.
For 2 reasons.
God, you might need to.
He can't override his own pick.
Oh fuck me!
Why are there balloons on my pick?
Because you pulled it off. You pulled it off.
That could not have been timed any better. Please watch the video to this pod. You will.
That's amazing.
Just watch history. Okay,
why
so
did that happen?
There are 2. The entity knows. I've befriended the entity. 2 reasons I'm going to veto this. Number 1, I actually do think Eddington could be argued as Ari Aster's most interesting / best movie. Now, listeners know, and you know, Ben, and you probably know, Danny, that's not like my number 1 Ari Aster movie, but I think there's a case. Number 2, I also just really want to see what the fuck you're going to nominate here. Because Eddington was like, that was your pick. And now you're kind of fucked between 5 movies that you actually like. So I think that sounds fun.
Nope.
He's really taking the revenge plot.
Nope. What you say? What do you mean? Nope.
Oh, that's movie number 6 is Nope.
No. Oh, absolutely not.
Sorry, guys.
There's no fucking way,
Ethan,
man.
You fucked us all by
Fuck
vetoing
you, Danny.
Eddington.
I didn't do anything. Oh my God. What the fuck is wrong with you, Ben?
Oh my God.
This is. I mean, I wouldn't have this here, but I got vetoed.
I'm
like next on my list.
Trouble breathing.
I'm gonna have
so
a 5-star
I'm going to have an aneurysm.
I'll pause for a second and let you guys veto if you want to.
Nobody has any vetoes.
Nobody has
no vetoes. Oh, interesting. That's crazy. That's
well,
crazy.
In no world.
Ethan.
No.
I just want to let the record show I blame Ethan 1,000% for this.
This all on Ben. In no world in which sane people live did I ever think that Jordan Peele's Nope, a modern day masterpiece on the absolute fucking tragedy that humans have with the fascination of the things they don't understand and the control of those things, would be played at number 6. That is not okay.
It's the world we live in, unfortunately.
Eddington was here. It was fine at 6.
Can we
6
go
is
back?
Even a little bit too high for it. And now we have what should be number 1 on this list.
Number Number two.
Whoa.
Should be number two on this list.
Justice for Us. That's all I got to say.
Okay.
Great. This is such a good movie. Now we are in the territory of like 4.5, 5-star films.
This is so wrong. This is so wrong.
I'm seizing actively.
Send help.
No, literally, I need a life alert right now. I'm fucking pressing the life alert.
Oh my God.
Send the paramedics. Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry. Okay, so hold on.
I still blame Ethan.
Okay. In no way is this my fault. I guess, okay, so we have to come to
I think there's been a series of mistakes made that led us here.
Yeah, and we have 5 movies to go.
I could have not taken out The Revenge of Nosferatu so quickly. You could have just let Eddington sit there in a perfectly fine spot for it.
I was like positive that we're all aligned that Nope is a top 2 movie. Like I thought that was literally the movie that we would agree on.
We're gonna get absolutely heinous reactions to this list.
Yeah. Look, Danny and I stand in solidarity on this. We do not approve of this pick.
But we can't do anything to stop it.
I gave it 4 stars. I like this movie.
Okay, so Jordan Peele's Nope, I think arguably the best movie out of this entire list of filmography here. Follows Daniel Kaluuya, Keke Palmer as horse wranglers within Hollywood. Hayward's Hollywood Horses, and basically what happens when bad miracles start to happen on their property in inland California. Features, I think, the most not only aesthetically pleasing but thematically interesting like movie monster of the 21st century, and has a theme that I think is so wholly individual to this movie out of this list of 11, that is, like I mentioned, humanity's fascination with the control over things that they can't have and the things that they want. And there's a particular sequence in Nope where the silver helmeted motorcyclist shows up. And I think like everything, both thematically and visually, that movie is capturing. I rewatched this the other night in 4K, and it just like might be one of the most gorgeous movies ever. The aspect ratio changes. If you love Sinners and you haven't seen Nope, it's very similar vibes. Like we're toying with aspect ratios, we're toying with blocking and framing and lighting in a way that is very similar. Ben, I know you love it when Keke Palmer does her Akira motorcycle slide.
So
like
good.
That alone is worth a top 5 spot. Take it back.
I agree, but unfortunately my number 6 got vetoed, so I had to pull number 5 down here. I would love to have someone in my life that I could do like the 4 slap handshake with, like they got going on the porch. That shit is awesome. Keke Palmer, great. Daniel Kaluuya, great. Stephen Young, great. Some fantastic sequences in here, like the TV set, like that whole what happens with the monkey, stuff like that. Like that's fantastic. Jean Jacket, super cool, super fucking cool. Great monster movie here. Yeah, I like this movie a lot. I don't know what else to say. I just like the other ones besides one a little bit more.
In the history of this podcast, in the 88 episodes, 87, prior episodes that we have done, have I never disagreed with a pick more.
I'm honored.
You should be. I feel like
I love to be on this podcast during unprecedented times. Precedented times are too.
Precedented times are over. You know? That's lame.
We just live in the unprecedented these days.
Yeah. Precedented times are tired. Unprecedented times wired.
That's what we need more of.
That's what we need more of here on the show. Fuck, man. God damn it. This is fucked.
Sick. This is sick.
All right, cool. Danny, I don't fucking care. Just play whatever you want, man. Doesn't matter.
I don't even know what to do here because
oh my God.
My options are to either play something that I believe deserves to be in the top 5, play it for good reason and good faith, wanting an opportunity to speak to it, or play another movie that I don't believe should be in the top 5, but it is sort of dying on the sword of making sure it's not top 4.
Okay.
I mean, I really, it's all it took was one pivotal moment, one fork in the road that I feel like I constituted the wrong direction. And Ben has full unsolicited power on this podcast. Ben
Yeah.
is the only person with a veto. Obviously, your veto override goes rendered useless
Yeah.
here because you have nothing to override. But you, I mean, are essentially dictating
He can do
kind of what you
whatever he
want to see
wants.
here.
And he still has a pick.
Danny,
Which
I think
in
this
essence,
is why we need
3
to collaborate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Play
A
out the
good
top
faith
5. So
collaboration.
the movies that we have left, let me cross out nope on our sheet. Jesus Christ. The movies that we have left: Hereditary, Midsommar, Eddington, Get Out, and Nosferatu. Those are the 5 films that are left. 3 Ari Asters, 1 Jordan Peele, 1 Robert Eggers. What are you thinking here? Which direction are you moving in?
Okay. So there's absolutely 2 for sure I cannot play because they're
Okay.
deservedly higher than number 5. I think the other 3 I could make a case for. 1, I've already displaced because I thought it should be moved up. And I would secede to it being at 5. I think that's generally okay. I personally would have it higher.
Okay.
Then there's a movie that I don't believe should be in the top 5, and that's what I'm fearful of it then moving into
Mhm.
a lot higher territory,
Some
and I
top,
don't
yeah,
feel
top.
great about that. Yeah. I think you would probably play it at 4 if given the
Okay.
opportunity, but
Oh,
I don't
interesting.
know if you would.
So I have an idea of what Ben wants to see in the top 2. I know that I have a feeling I know what those 2 movies are. I
I
feel
don't know that I do. That's awesome.
well, welcome to my world when I podcast with Eric Anderson, who is on this pod and claims to know more about me than I know about myself. I Danny, I think you should just follow your heart. Play how you want the list to go.
Okay. All right.
Because there's
That being
not much
said,
anybody can do.
play how I want the list to go. I've gotta bite this bullet. I'm gonna play Ari Aster's Eddington.
Fuck. Goddamn. I was really hoping you wouldn't, and then we'd bump it all the way to 3. That would have been sick. That would have been redemption. But no. Okay.
I couldn't risk it falling into the top 3. I understand what this movie's going for. I've had very, very extensive conversations about this, and I think our podcast review on our channel did a really good job unpacking what this movie is trying to pull off. Obviously set in the COVID era, uh, which is something that people are going to pay attention to and have sort of a visceral reaction to, just given that we're only a few years removed from that. The inherent paranoia, fear, anxieties that come with that time period. And so I think there's a really interesting through line here about distraction and the way in which we are fed misinformation and the ways in which we're fed narratives about society and the people around us that places this mistrust in one another, and how we're all distracted by so many other things that we're not ever looking at the root cause of it all. And I do think the final shot of Ari Aster's Eddington really recenters that focus on that root cause that we're not able to wrestle with in a meaningful way. And so I think all of that is really compelling, and I don't think it's too soon to grapple with that. I actually think it can't come soon enough for us as a society to confront that. And I really, really do respect Aster's ambition to try to tackle that conversation and to look square in the face of big tech and say, you are fucking all of us, quite literally, in ways that we can't even comprehend right now. It's a really important message. It's absolutely essential. One of the most sort of topical and critical discourses to have a conversation about. I just don't think this movie functions that well as a movie in and of itself. I think it gets immensely distracted, it gets really sidetracked in other things it wants to do. There's a lot of subplots to this that don't have a meaningful impact on the plot itself, despite the fact that I can understand why they're there because they are important to the wider societal conversation, looking at
Mm.
it outside the scope of the movie. I just have a lot of issues with it as a movie, despite the fact that what it's trying to tackle is important, and it's not too soon to confront those ideas. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm playing it here at 5, just because I just don't think it functions as well and isn't executed to the same level as movies that we have remaining.
I think it's fair. Ben, I'm really curious to hear your take on Eddington because we haven't talked about it. You just watched it this afternoon. I have no idea what your thoughts are. A movie that I frankly, you asked me last night. You were like, if I only had time to watch one of these two movies, Eddington or The Northman, which one should I watch? And I was like, The Northman's probably much more your speed because
Mhm.
I know how you felt about Bo's Afraid and Ari Aster in general talk like tackling some of these things, but you said you liked it.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to speak as eloquently as Danny did about it. I echo everything he said. When I started it, I did have that same thought, or I had the thought of just like, is this too soon to tell this story? But I agree with Danny. I was like, I don't think that's the case. I think this is, it can't be soon enough, to kind of echo what has happened over the last 5 years. I really enjoyed Joaquin. Like
Yeah.
everyone's performance, Pedro, Austin, Emma, like they're all doing great stuff, but Joaquin is obviously like carrying this, and I think he does such a great job here. I just love everything, all the decisions his character is making. Just I don't know. It was funny to me too. I thought this movie was pretty funny.
Really funny movie.
Yeah, and I think that for me, maybe that's one of the things I was missing with Bo is Afraid, if for that kind of a story. But this one to me, I thought was super funny. I don't know. I had a great time. I'm still kind of wrapping my head around it because I honestly finished it within an hour of us recording.
Mm.
Like this is like very fresh to me. I just know when it finished, I was like, good movie, good movie. I like
Mm.
this a lot. Yeah, I think he did a great job telling this kind of a story.
Yeah, I think this is probably I think not probably. This is definitely Ari Aster's most provocative film that he has made, and I think he wanted it to be that. Of course, kind of tackles what Joaquin is doing as a sheriff of Eddington, New Mexico, and deciding to run for a political office and kind of dictate the way that not only he has power over a town, but the way that the power or the way that the town moves into the future that is directly in conversation with, of course, the data center that is being built
Mhm.
outside of Eddington, New Mexico, that is supported by Pedro Pascal's character of Mayor Ted Garcia and how they kind of see the world and things. I think there's a lot of great things that Eddington is doing here. And I actually really, I think like out of this entire slate of movies, I think Nope and Eddington for me are the ones like that stick with me the most. I've thought about Eddington a lot since I've seen it. I once A24 put out the 4K, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna pre-order that because I really want to watch this movie again. Like I'm really interested in seeing this for a second time. I love Ari's use of screens in this movie. I think something that modern directors are quite adverse to. I think Jordan Peele, notwithstanding, who does really good stuff in Nope. Obviously, Robert Eggers probably has never seen a cell phone in his life. So he would
His
make a
characters
movie.
certainly haven't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
his characters definitely haven't. And I know there's one particular sequence in Eddington that's near the end. Some of the technical work that Ari Aster is doing surrounding Joaquin Phoenix's character, if you've seen the movie, you can probably guess what I'm hinting at here, is like gobsmacking filmmaking to me, where I was just like, holy shit. Like I look at what he's doing, guys. Like, are you seeing what I'm seeing?
Yeah.
So there's a lot in anything that I like. I totally understand all of the criticisms and takes about this movie. And I think some of that is valid. I think there's a lot to talk about with this movie. I think the idea that Eddington is like inherently anti-political is like vastly incorrect. And I
Mm.
think Ari is like really actually like battening down the hatches on that very idea of like, you think this is apolitical, and that's the problem, is that you think this is apolitical when in fact all of these subplots that you talk about, Danny, everything coalesces to something one way or another. Talk about movies with good needle drops. This is perhaps the best on the list. This is incredible stuff here. And I think reinforces what Ari Aster is predominantly found himself most concerned with. That is the isolationism and the way the world perceives you and your ideas. That obviously comes out in Joaquin Phoenix's character, and it is all about exactly what Beau was Afraid was about, just different. And I think that's pretty cool that he stuck with it. Eddington at 5 is how it's going to sit. That was 4 on my list personally. So
nice.
What are you going to do?
Pretty close.
Pretty close. All right. So at 4, I'll be interested to see what happens here. At 4, I'm gonna play Nosferatu, a movie that I tried to play at 7, was met with fervent backlash. I think it's good, not great. Like, it's really funny because for the Northman, I gave the argument of like, I love the technicality. I love what Eggers is doing. I love that he's trying all of these really cool things. And for Nosferatu, a lot of that technicality is still on play. And I just like rolled my eyes at it. I was like, we know you are good at making period pieces. We get it, dude. Like, give us something a little bit more. And so I think that's interesting that like you felt that way, Danny, on the Northman. I felt that way on Nosferatu. I realize I'm in the minority here. I don't think this movie is great. I think it's just like totally fine.
I mean, I enjoyed this film, much to my surprise. After going 0 for 2 on Eggers, I thought for sure, it was like, well, this just isn't going to work for me, but I want to watch it. Man, Lily Rose Depp kind of came through pretty amazingly when I heard that because she took over for Anya Taylor-Joy, right? Like,
yeah, I believe so, right?
At that point, when I heard that, I was like, that sucks, because I've seen whatever that A24 show was that we watched at the weekend. What was that?
The Idol?
The Idol, yeah.
Dude,
like, yeah.
God, The Idol. Crazy stuff.
But Lily Rose Depp killed it. The possession scene, Jesus Christ, like amazing. Bill Skarsgård, always fantastic. Like he's such a solid. I think he's always great. Like this whole, I don't know. I enjoy this film. I love the set decoration. To me, this is a period piece that just like totally worked. I fully bought into it. And I had a great time with this movie.
Good.
I'll say this is the one movie on my list that's at 5 stars.
Oh,
whoa.
That's how much I love Nosferatu.
Okay, I get the 7-spot veto now. It makes sense.
Yes, correct. Correct.
Damn.
Yeah.
Do I need it? Like, okay, so I do. I'm gonna keep I'm gonna keep flexing this. I do own the 4K of Nosferatu because it was on sale, and I was like, I'm not gonna not buy this movie. Do I need to rewatch it? Like, is that what you're saying? Is like I need to give this another shot?
I was very rarely, if ever, will I give a 5 to a first watch. I really feel most often that I need to let it marinate, come back to it, and confirm if I'm ready to kind of assess there. But this was like, I think this is a 5. And then I watched it, revisited it, went back to the theater, saw it again. And like 20 minutes in, I was like, okay, great. Like, I don't need to think about my Letterboxd rating. I'm just going to enjoy the hell out of this because it's a 5-star movie for me. And there's like very rare instances of that. Like when I watched Dune for the first time, I was like, I think I just don't need to even think about my Letterboxd rating because I'm pretty sure that there's no way this isn't 5.
Yeah.
And there's like certain scenes in certain movies where I'm like, you know, when I saw the sandworm for the first time in Dune, I was like, holy fuck, like I'm at 5, right? And there was just a moment in Nosferatu where that happened for me too. And it just feels like it's this like theater on display of just like pure feralness and toying with this like relationship between desire and like the eroticism of that, but also the eroticism of like sexual repression that he's dealing with this period and the female character at the center of it. I thought he used the material in a really provocative way and added a lot of commentary on things that are still relevant to contemporary times, while having just an immensely beautiful movie. So yeah, I love Nosferatu. It's by far my favorite Eggers, and I'm very content with it at 4. I fully recognize that it would be a hard sell to get it any higher than that, but it is number 1 on my list.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like pretty sure if I remember correctly, this movie opens up almost exactly the same way that The Witch does, and is obviously about a very similar identification of women in a period and their repression, whether societal or individual. So maybe I marked it against for that, coming from a guy who's like, Ari Aster is doing the same thing in every movie. I fucking love that. It's terrible that I'm sitting here saying all of these things.
Hey, when you
Okay,
revisited The Witch, you went up on it. So
it's true. That's true. I did. Maybe I just got to revisit Nosferatu. Maybe it's time. Who's to say?
wait for Christmas. You'll feel the spirit.
The spirit of Orlok enter my bones.
Spirit of Orlok. Don't we all wish that the spirit of Orlok would enter our bones?
Yeah, sure. Okay, Ben, you've got 3. Danny's got 2. I've got 1, which is going to be picked for me. So what's it going to be?
I'm trying to be
past 2 picks. I don't know what the hell he's going to do.
I don't either. I know what he's not going to do. I know there's one movie he's not going to play here. And by me saying that, maybe he does play it because he wants to prove me a chump.
Well, I don't want to prove you a chump, but what I was going to say is that, like, I'm trying to maybe look at the top 3 here a little more objectively, because these are obviously 3 of the better films that we have left here. Do I want my favorite at number 1, which, like, in a sense I could secure with the veto I have left? Or do I want maybe what I think
he's literally determining the top 3 movies? Like, he has
fucking
full
chess
power
over here. Yeah,
he has full autonomy to choose how the top 3 play out. Wow, how did we let this happen?
It's sickening. It's disgusting.
Sickening power.
What I don't want, for some reason, is to have Ari Aster have the 1 and 2 spot. That just seems wrong to me. So I want to get Peele in there. But then again, that's where it comes down to, like, do I want my favorite movie in there, or do I want what might objectively be the better movie in there? And
2 sides of the coin.
I think at number 3, I kind of can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm going to play Midsommar.
No. You had 1 job. You can't go around and fuck our list twice.
What do you mean?
Thrice.
I thought I was doing you guys a favor here.
Thrice.
No, this is the number 1 movie.
I thought it was
you know this.
It's my number 1. It's my favorite. Yeah.
Then why aren't you saving it for number 1? What are you doing?
Okay, great. Then Hereditary. I'll play Hereditary at 3.
Great. I'll take.
Is that better?
Bowling works.
I'll veto myself on Midsommar. I'm vetoing Midsommar.
All
so
right.
you do this officially, and I'm going to play Hereditary at 3.
Okay. You love to see it. That's just incredible work from all people here.
You bullied him.
Yeah, you really did. I was like, what the fuck? You felt the heat, man.
I did. I seriously thought I was taking one for the team here. I was like, you know what? I'm going to play my favorite at 3. I'll let these guys have 1 and 2 with Hereditary and Get Out. We'll be good to go.
I didn't think that he would cede to the pressure from Ethan at all.
No, Ben, you're always so, like, astute. You're like, I don't care. My pick.
I think just understanding where you guys were coming from. I was like, okay, I mean, if you guys, all right.
Okay.
Cool.
I do want it to be known. We're going to talk about Hereditary here for a second, but I do want it to be known. You had one other prior experience of lists involving both Hereditary and Midsommar.
Yeah.
And at a time in which you messed up and played Hereditary in the wrong spot, you tried to do it again and play Midsommar in the wrong spot here. But we righted history today.
We did it.
Okay, Hereditary at number 3. Speak on it.
Yeah, I mean, what is there to say about this movie? We covered this multiple times for our A24 pod, and every time I was like, why in the fuck am I watching this? Like, this movie disturbs me so much. Toni Collette is amazing. Obviously, I mean, she was just like fucking fantastic. It's kind of crazy that like she wasn't nominated for this, right? Like, and easily should
No.
have been. Like, this was so good. Our intro to Ari Aster and just what sets the tone, I think. And that's why, like, when he comes back with Midsommar, I'm like, okay, this dude has got it. Horror, like, we're into it for sure. I think he crushed it with these first two movies. So, yeah, like, I don't know how to speak on it, honestly. Like, it's just like, it's a fucking disturbing movie in the best way. Um, I've been to like the apartment that she goes to visit that lady at. Like, I shot a film, like I shot some stuff there, and I just felt kind
Whoa.
of creepy being there, just knowing like where it was from. Um, this movie had just such an effect on me, and it does every time I watch it. And that's why I was like, objectively, is this a better movie than Midsommar? I don't know. Maybe it should be number one, but for me, obviously, it's Midsommar, so I'm fine with this here at three. I I think we need to get Peel in the top two.
Yeah. Ari Aster again tackling family trauma and
Yeah,
doing so in quite a visually abrasive way. I think one of his stronger openings to a film that is drenched with dread, and ultimately, when you go to rewatch this movie, you know what's coming, which is almost worse than not knowing what's
yeah,
coming because you have to live with that. And to have this be your first movie is kind of crazy to me,
yeah,
and it's really, really special. And yeah, I mean, I think like how a traumatic event divides a family is really interesting here because every single person reacts differently to that traumatic event in Hereditary, and they're all arguably worse than the next.
mhm.
And it's really, really good stuff from Ari Aster here.
Isn't this the one too where like it was a can or something like that where it's playing, like people are throwing up and like leaving the theater and shit? Like it just got like such wild reviews when it was being previewed
I
to
think
the point that
Sundance.
yeah,
Mhm.
Sundance, duh, that obviously.
Yeah, Sundance 2018.
To the point that I made my partner go see it first, and then I when she got home, I had her tell me the entire plot of the movie. I'm like, tell me everything that happens, then
Yeah,
I'll watch it with you. And I don't think I was wrong for that because like
yeah.
that, yeah, that was the only way I was going to see it. So
It was at one point A24's highest grossing film
mhm.
It
with
was.
$88 million at the box office until Everything Everywhere All at Once surpassed it in 2022. So notable. Any thoughts on Hereditary, Danny?
Uh, Not a ton to add. Seen this handful of times now, and there's certainly things about this movie that just stay with you after you see it, and you just really can't forget. And I think that's a incredible quality about a
Mhm.
horror
Mhm.
movie. The sound design of the little clicks that happen in this movie, obviously,
Oh
like
yeah.
the key sort of defining plot trajectory, plot beat that changes the path of the film is like it just lives in sort of popular culture, I think, and that's also something that's incredibly hard to achieve. So yeah, I mean, I like this movie a lot. I actually am happy that it's at three because what's
Ooh.
remaining from his filmography is a tad higher for me.
Nice.
Yeah. And I think, unpopular, what happens here in this movie, conversation between Annie, Tony Collette's character, and Peter, who is Alex Wolf's character, basically tackling the idea of like parents that maybe didn't want to be parents. And I
Mhm.
think that's really interesting. That's not something that we see in film a
Mm.
lot. And I know it's more prevalent in a horror setting, and this of course lends itself to that. But like to outright be like, I never wanted to be your mother, and then deal with the fallout of a sentence like that is horrifying in and of itself. So
Yeah.
really flexing those muscles of where Aru is going to go. Okay, you got number two, Danny.
I do, and in turn, in a way, number one,
Yep.
because no one can stop it. Not even Ben. Not even
Nope.
with all of his
All of the
power that he
powers.
has exerted over me and Ethan on this draft.
Wild stuff.
Really dictated the path here for us. But all right, I am well. Do you want to have a conversation, Ethan? Do you want to talk about this? Do you want to
Yeah.
let me leave me to my
I'm
my
I'm
desires?
open to conversation. I do feel like there is it's kind of a difficult situation because, like Ben was mentioning, do you go personal favorite or do you go with like the right one? I feel like between Get Out and Midsommar, they mean different things to different people,
Mhm.
and they mean different things to the film culture at large. So each one in its own respect, I could see at number one. I personally would love to play Midsommar at number one. It is the 5-star movie for me. Out of this list, I know I gave 5 stars to The Northman, I gave 5 stars to Nope, and I gave 5 stars to Midsommar. Ben, you know more than anybody. Midsommar has been my 5-star baby since day one. I
Yeah.
will always find a way to talk about that film. And I interviewed the composer, Bobby Kralik, for that movie. Like, incredible stuff, incredible insight for Midsommar. So I think that should be number one. I'd love to have like a conversation about that, but I don't know if you're leaning that way or not.
I will say, well, I'll say I have both movies rated the same
Mm.
on Letterboxd. So both
Oh,
of them I have at the
hmm.
same exact star rating. Uh, that being said, I am leaning in the direction of playing Midsommar here because I
Okay.
love both. I think both are incredible achievements, but I think Midsommar relies heavily on prior movies, although there is a lot of inventiveness done
Hmm.
here. I do think it relies a lot on Wicker Man, and
Hmm.
I think Get Out just really did something that struck a cultural phenomenon in a new and fresh way that I
Yeah.
can't overlook as being, I think, a little bit more not just important socially, but also just revelatory in what it meant to sort of
Yeah.
bring these ideas forward in the film space. So that's where I'm leading, and I think you said there's kind of pros to both, but that's what I'm going to lock in. I'm going to play
Okay.
Midsommar here, which I do think is a fantastic film. It is my favorite Ari Aster film. And so I totally get where you're coming from, Ethan. A movie that I think deals with codependency, grief.
Hmm.
Ari Aster famously, or maybe infamously, in an interview called it his breakup movie, which I think
Yep.
is absolutely hilarious.
Hmm.
To concoct something like this in the wake of a breakup, I would love to get said other parties' feelings and emotions about this. That would be wonderful to hear.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think obviously, this film deals with a group of friends traveling to Sweden to kind of partake in the culture and festivities that this territory has to offer, and it takes some rather diabolical directions from there, I will have to say. But the idea that it's a horror movie that plays out in broad daylight is just wonderful to witness.
Hmm.
Just such a cool idea, and it's done so well. You can see everything in complete contrast to Hereditary, which just
Yeah.
is a movie that just operates in darkness.
Hmm.
But it, it's nonetheless dark in its themes and in its character work, despite the fact that it has this bright and vibrant and lush setting. It's a wonderful movie. It's not quite number one for me, but I am happy to play it here at two.
This is the only 5-star movie I have out of these 11. I love Midsommar. It's my favorite A24. It's just, to me, it's perfect. I understand the critique that it relies on like past horror films, things like that. Totally get it. It just worked wonderfully for me, especially like being raised religious and then seeing a lot of this kind of cult stuff throughout the film. Like, okay, I unfortunately connect to some of this. Not obviously like the super gnarly shit, but just like that kind of tribalism and all that kind of stuff that comes with this religious group. Um, yeah, I know the moment there was a few moments in the theater when I saw this, but for some reason when like she's high and like the grass is moving and all that kind of stuff is happening, I was locked in. I was like, fuck yeah, I am here for this. Like I couldn't explain it to anybody, but like watching it, I was like, that's exactly what that feels like. I can't believe you captured that.
Hmm.
Um the old couple jumping off was just, like that was just another moment. It was like, this is insane. This is just pure
Yeah.
insanity. but
You're like,
I
Ari
love
Aster
it.
got that one right when I saw the old couple jump off
He
the
nailed it.
building
It was
last week. He
perfect.
nailed it. Yeah.
Yeah, you got the big
The
mallet,
perfect amount of ageism right there.
Yeah, exactly.
He dialed that up to perfection.
But one of my favorite things about this movie is like the opening shot of like the artwork, and like we see everything that's going to happen throughout this movie. Like he just like puts it right there on the screen for you. Like here's everything that's about to happen. But it still pays off. It still works so well. I love do you feel held, Danny? Like just one of my favorite lines from, like, I just think it works so well. And Florence Pugh just like owns the screen the whole time. So
yeah,
this is a moment where I do think Get Out is like maybe the better movie, but Midsommar is my favorite. So there's no losing on this 1 and 2. So I'm happy that it's here.
I won't belabor the point on Midsommar. People that listen to either this show or follow me on any social media platform probably know, like, this is my movie. I love Midsommar. I think it's really interesting that you bring up that line, Ben. Do you feel held, Danny? Because I agree with you. I think it's one of the most potent lines in the film. But like you said that just triggered like, oh, he's just doing the same thing in Beau is Afraid, but instead of like it being a boyfriend and then a pseudo random person, it's a mom and a high school crush. Like that's all that he's just doing the same thing with Beau, which is really like crazy. You talk about him totally explaining what's about to happen in that wonder that goes across kind of the compound area.
Yeah.
That's just a huge flex to me, to be like, guys, here it is, but you're going to sit for the next 2 hours and watch it all unfold. I think it's really cool. Arguably one of the most impressive final frames of a movie of all time. The little smirk that we get from Florence Pugh, I'd say arguably her best movie that she's ever made. I think there's room for that, and we can refer to the Florence Pugh draft. Do you remember what shook out on that one, Ben? Do you know what we ended up doing?
I hope that ended up number 1. I don't remember.
Oh man, I hope so too. I'm gonna try and scrub our docs real quick. Let's see. But I do love this movie. Florence Pugh collaborative draft. Number 1, Midsommar. You'll love to see it.
Makes sense.
We got something right at one point.
You got it right.
we knew our roots. Yeah, love this movie. Okay, that leaves me at number 1. I agree with Ben. No wrong here between Get Out and Midsommar at 1 and 2. I think are like the right picks for 1 and 2. I think they're interchangeable in my opinion. Get Out, of course, Danny mentioned the cultural phenomenon in 2017 that basically announced Jordan Peele the same way that Hereditary announced Ari Aster, and I think is really something special. I think changes the trajectory of the last 7 years of cultural filmmaking and what it means to like be prescient about a sensitive topic, and especially when it comes to racial inequity and how the world perceives that, and doing it under the light that Jordan Peele is so good at doing it. Daniel Kaluuya in this movie just fucking lights out. So good. Here's to hoping. Rumor is that he's back making movies. Fingers crossed that is the truth.
We used to have movies with Daniel Kaluuya.
We used to.
We did. We used to have good things.
And now he's been stuck in production on Barney for 18,000 years.
That's insane.
Brutal stuff. Yeah, I mean, just some stuff in Get Out that like undisputed great, undisputed staying power. And yeah, I love this at number 1. I think this is great. I personally have it rated lower than Midsommar, but that's again personal preference here. I think 2 movies that are very firmly still in the culture.
Yeah. This is my 1 and 2 just reversed. Like I had Get Out at number 2 on my personal list. There are still just so many sequences from this movie that just you can play in your head. And like, my God, it's so like Rose, the keys. Rose, give me the keys. Like that whole sequence, it's just like the first time you saw that, and hopefully, everyone listening was able to see it in the theater, but it's just like, Jesus Christ, no way. Like it got me, and maybe it just speaks to me, but I was like, fuck, I did not see that coming. That was fantastic.
When Allison Williams turns and she like mentally, just physically, just everything just switches, and she's like, I can't give you the keys, babe. Like, oh God,
I'm kind of like, it's cheesy, but I am getting chills thinking about it now. Like it's just such a fucking cool scene. But along those lines, like the ending, that shot when the lights start playing, you know, start flashing against him. It's like, oh no, like this is what's going to happen. I can't believe the cops are finally here. Like, oh shit, he's going to take the fall for all this stuff. And then fucking Rod fucking Williams comes out of that car. TSA knows everything.
Motherfucking TSA.
Motherfucking TSA. Like, I don't know. There's just so many sequences here that work and I think make the movie just like the powerful movie that it is. Yeah, I love it. Obviously, like horror for a while is like spoken to social issues, and I think this is another just like perfect example of that. I feel like the phrase elevated horror got thrown around ad nauseum, you know, when this came out, but like it really kind of was, you know, like there's a reason everyone kept calling it that. So I think this is a great number one spot.
I mean, the resonance of this movie, like just last podcast I was on, we quoted this movie just out of the blue.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. A lot of staying power. A lot of staying power for this film. Okay, we've done it. We've completed the Ari Aster, Robert Eggers, Jordan Peele collaborative draft here on the Movie Draft podcast. No thanks to Ben or Danny, truthfully. And no thanks to me either.
Whoa.
Hey. Shots to Danny.
I thought we were yeah, that was a crazy stray. There was clearly one person who overpowered this draft.
Yeah, okay. Well, you screwed me time and time again, both of you. But we have our list of 11, nonetheless. Here it is. At number 11, we have The Witch. At number 10, Us. At number 9, The Northman, which I feel like I should have got stuck in on The Northman. I think things would have played out better if that's how you screwed me over, Danny. You were like, I'll give you another shot to take your veto away, and you lured me into the bear trap.
Well, okay, let's play this out just before you finish the list. If you had played the veto at 9 on The Northman, I would have played Eddington, which means we would have avoided the scenario where Eddington was then vetoed in favor of Nope at 6. We could have maybe saved Nope for the top.
Well, let's pause all this because I was trying to use my veto override, but you kept like going back and forth with him about like, do you want to use it? Do you not want to? Like, I was trying to object and be like, this is not going to stay here, like, or this is going to stay here. The veto I'm overriding it. But you talked him out of using his veto, which I mean, I didn't end up using the override anyway. But like, okay, cool. I guess it worked like I thought it was going to. So,
so I got
complexities and nuances of the Movie Draft podcast.
Ben, were you always going to play Nope low?
I mean, that's just kind of where I have it. Like, I think I have it at 5 on my list. Like,
okay, so it wasn't like intentionally low. That's just kind of the ballpark.
Yeah.
Okay, you might want to not ever put that list public. Just helping you in this situation.
Fair enough.
Number 9 was The Northman. Number 8 was The Lighthouse. Number 7, Beau Was Afraid. Number 6, Nope. Number 5, Eddington. Number 4, Nosferatu. Number 3, Hereditary. Number 2, Midsommar. And number 1, Get Out. I don't like anything about this list except for the top 3. I think are pretty cool and right and correct.
Yeah.
I think in broad strokes, it's not that bad.
Okay, I disagree with that. Like I said at the top of the pod, we are going to end up with a list that I wholeheartedly disagree with. Here we are.
Here we are.
That's it. How do you? I mean, how do you guys feel about it, Ben? You would you change anything about this list?
I mean, my top 3 is in the top 3 spot. So
wow.
And my 11 is at the 11 spot. So I can't actually. My top 4 there. Nosferatu I had at 4. So
can you read your personal list real fast? Can you read your personal ranking?
You want me to go 1 to 2? Or 1 to 11, I mean. I can't do Northman because I haven't seen it. 1 to 10.
Oh, right. Yeah, sure.
Midsommar, Get Out, Hereditary, Nosferatu, Us, Nope, Eddington, Beau Was Afraid, The Lighthouse, The Witch.
Jeez. Okay. Danny, would you change anything about this list? Obviously, we'd bump Nope up.
Yeah, I would probably not to put Ben in the spotlight, but the 6 and 11 spots are where I would have a field day. I would probably move The Witch to 6 and then Nope to top 2, and then just sort of shift everything down a spot would make things a lot more comfortable for me. I was fully prepared to get into a situation where it came down to either some combination of Nope and Midsommar, Nope and Hereditary, and to play the other one to push Nope into number one. That's what I was sort of anticipating.
That would have been so cool, man. That would have been so based. Like if you saw that graphic online, you would have been like, they get it. And now this graphic, Ben, is going to float out into the world, and people are going to be like, Nope, it's 6. We're not going to listen to that pod.
At Benny Burrito, follow me for more Nope takes.
Ben
Danny,
said Nope.
Do you have your personal list, a personal ranking? Can you read it real fast?
I do. So I have Nosferatu at 1, Nope at 2, Get Out at 3, The Witch at 4, Midsommar at 5, Hereditary at 6, Beau is Afraid at 7, Us at 8, The Lighthouse at 9, Eddington at 10, and The Northman at 11.
The Northman at 11? Get the fuck out of here, Dan.
I would say that's the only movie of these 11 that I pretty actively dislike. Everything else I have a reason to like. While Eddington I don't think is totally successful, there are ideas in there I can get behind. The Northman is just one that I just don't care for at all, really, other than the sort of technical prowess of it.
You don't like the idea of Alexander Skarsgård and Anya Taylor-Joy making a baby in a hot spring against a backdrop of beautiful mountains? Doesn't appeal to you. Cool. Duly noted. I should have known that you and I would have disparaging opinions here, because
what's
that
funny
is kind of our thing. That's our thing.
We could have been allies here, but the Northman really wedged a gap in between us, and we're fighting between ourselves while Ben dominates this draft.
That's the thing with collaborative drafts. They spawn little individual battles of themselves. My personal list, since you guys gave yours: Midsommar at 1, Nope at 2, The Northman at 3, Eddington at 4, Hereditary at 5, Get Out at 6, Beau is Afraid at 7, The Witch at 8, Nosferatu 9, The Lighthouse 10, and Us at 11. So markedly different than the list that we panned out with here today on the Ari Aster, Robert Eggers, Jordan Peele collab draft, but a draft that I had fun doing nonetheless. Even if the results are subpar, I like hanging out with my friends, supposedly. That's what I tell myself. Hey, it was a good time. Let's try to get to bed. Massive thank you to Danny for joining us for this draft. Danny, if people want to find more of you, where can they find you at?
Absolutely. You can find me at The Rolling Tape hosting our daily show. You can also subscribe to our Patreon over there. If you subscribe during the month of August, which this is not going to go out in August. So if you're listening to this, it's already expired, but you could have had an opportunity to get a Criterion gift card if you subscribed during August. So that's exciting. You can still subscribe. You just won't be in a giveaway for a Criterion gift card. That being said, you can also find me personally at DTJ Cinema on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, and at Danny Jerbeck on Blue Sky and Letterboxd.
Yeah. Exciting stuff happening around this draft in the month of September. End of the month, we're going to wrap it with a PTA collaborative draft, which should, of course, induce many aneurysms, which I'm very excited about to try and do. Ben, thank you for joining me as a podcast host.
Do you mean
you
that?
Really are? I
played The Witch at 11. All right. Okay.
It's not so much The Witch at 11 that I care about. It's Nope at 6.
Oh,
you know, that's the real crime here.
Choose your fighter of
Yeah.
No, I mean it. Thank you for potting with me, as always. It does mean a lot. I love getting on here and potting with you. Be sure to listen and subscribe to the Movie Draft Podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. We're also now on YouTube with video. We're also on Spotify with video, if that's your thing. I know we've had a lot of people asking for video, so we have delivered. I have delivered. So let it be known. The next time you can vote for me in a draft, I deserve something somewhere. I promise. New episodes of this podcast will be released weekly on Tuesdays. We'll see you then.